So now I'm back on Facebook, so I just want to make sure that I'm clear there. And so today, I posted in my group on Facebook that I wanted to answer media questions that people have, because I couldn't really think of a particular topic. And so that's what I'm doing today. So for anybody that has, will I take you out to dinner? That's not a media question. So I'm answering media questions. But like I said, I have a Facebook group and I posted and I asked if anybody had any questions. And so I got a couple posted in the group, but I got some that actually emailed me. And so I definitely want to talk about and answer the questions. And if you have an actual media question, I would love to answer it for you. But like I said, just a lot of questions, and I definitely want to make sure, hey Rudy, how are you? I definitely want to make sure that I respond. So the first question was about brand. So they are asking about, people that have different practices, have different businesses, and are obviously experts. Hey Lance. I'm not saying no, I'm just saying I'm talking about media right now. Hey Noya Love Styles, how are you? Hey Carl, I am back in Chicago at a conference, I think the October 6th. I'm at the Limitless Conference, and I'll be posting some information about that, so I'm really excited about that. But the question was from, I'm based in Dallas. The question was, for people that are experts and that have businesses or brands that are really focused on, providing some service. So they're like a doctor, or they're like, I don't know if my email is on the Facebook page. If you want to email me, you can email me at support@nikkywoodsmedia.com. Support@nikkywoodsmedia.com. And so if you're providing a practice, when you have to, deliver this practice every day, do you focus on making sure that your brand stays out in front of people, like media, social media, that sort of thing? Hey, Carolyn, glad you could join us. And so the thing is that you really just have to figure out like what's important. Okay, that fan is making me dizzy. Fans make me dizzy. I don't know if that's gonna help, but anyway. So you have to decide what's important. So if you're trying to get social media or traditional media, and that's what you think is going to help build your business, and I absolutely agree that it will, you have to come up with a plan. Hey Solomon, how are you? You have to come up with a plan. Hey Marie. So either you hire a social media manager, you hire maybe a publicist, or you take the time, hey Deborah, to put together a plan. Okay, T-Bone, I'll see you later. Have fun at work. Put together a plan so that you can consistently stick to it. So I think that even if you have like a brick and mortar business or you're providing a local service, I think that if you are an expert, then you definitely have information that could impact people that may not be in your vicinity. And you can impact them by media interviews, by social media postings, by having free trainings and webinars like I do. And so you can absolutely keep the brand focused. Hey Damon, how are you? But you have to be very, clear on how you're going to do that. And if you don't want to hire somebody to do that, you have to come up with a plan. And I do a whole training on social media and how you can create a content calendar. But literally, you set aside some time, whether it's on a Saturday or Sunday, and plan out like the entire week of content. And then if you have an assistant or you have an intern, you can always have them post, but that you can plan out that content. How do I drive huge traffic to my website? Hey, Danielle, thank you. So visibility is always a difficult question. Oh, thank you. T-Bone is encouraging people to pump hearts for me on Periscope. I appreciate that. If you guys get an opportunity, if you could share this information on whatever platform, that would be great. So you really have to have a plan for that too. So using social media is always great. You have to make sure, I guess the key thing is to make sure you have great content on your website. But using your social media to drive traffic, doing media interviews always drives traffic to your website. In fact, whenever we would do an interview on Tom Joyner, often if the website wasn't prepared, we would shut the website down, that much traffic. But once then, you get the traffic, you have to make sure that your content is sticky, meaning that it's good enough so that when people come, they want to stay and then they absolutely want to return. Hey, El Marie, I am doing well today. How are you, darling? And so you want to make sure also that you set appointments with your content so that you're not just posting here or there or whenever you feel like it, but that you're posting consistently so that you're setting appointments with people that are interested in your content so they know that on Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. you're going to post something new. That's really important to people. Hey, Ulysses, thank you. I appreciate that. And so that's really important too. And then also one thing a lot of people overlook when looking to get traffic to their website is that you have social share buttons easily posted with your content so that if people read it and they like it, that they can easily share that content to their social media platform. So those are just a few things that you can do. But like I said, I do an in-depth training on just social media and how social media can drive visibility to your website. And maybe I'll schedule that so that people can jump on if you're really just interested in social media. But right now I just wanted to answer some of the media questions that we get. So another question that was inboxed to us here at the team was, what do you mean by an angle and why is that important for publicity? So when we talk about angles, really it is just a way of framing your story so that it makes sense for a news outlet or a media outlet to pick you up. So say for instance, you are a financial expert. And you do this all the time. You have a lot of information and you want to pitch a story. So finding an angle means, say for instance, the end of the year is coming up. So maybe your angle would be how to have a wonderful Christmas without getting in debt, and pitch that to a news outlet because that would be of value to their audience, and it ties in with the Christmas theme. Or it could be something like, if you spend too much money, and this could be for the new year, if you spent too much money for Christmas and now you're debt, I have 10 tips on how to alleviate that debt. So that's an angle. So really, like I said, finding an angle just means that you are looking at what information you have to offer and you're finding a way to pitch it to the news outlet or media outlet so that it makes sense for their audience. So that's what a news angle is. I hope that makes sense. You guys, I'm just interested into where everybody is today. If you could just type the name of your city, I just like to see where people are. I'm in Dallas, by the way, and I was complaining earlier because it's like 95 degrees and I have the fan on high because I had turned the air conditioning down because it's getting really cool at night now. But then I forget to turn it back on and all of a sudden I'm just like hot. And so the fan is on, I'm waiting for the air conditioner to kick in. Hey, Kay Foster, how are you? And so that's what I'm doing. Okay, so we got Manhattan, DFW, hey, DFW, Audon Thomas, good to see you. Rockville, Maryland, oh nice, hey Levon, very, very nice. So we're scattered, so that's awesome. So another question we had, San Antonio, you're not too far. One of my buddies lives in San Antonio, Louisville, Kentucky. Oh, awesome. Hey, Kenneth. So one of the other questions we got is, don't you need a PR firm to make contacts for you? Okay. Mamaroneck, New York. Mamaroneck, New York. I've never heard of that. Mamaroneck, New York. That's awesome. Tell me what it's close to. I'd be interested in that. Brooklyn, New York. All right, Kay. I hear you. Chicago, but I feel like Montego Bay today. Hey there. Is it hot in Chicago so you feel like it's Montego Bay, or you wish you were Montego Bay? You feel like being in Montego Bay. I feel like being in Montego Bay and it feels like Montego Bay. So I'm a little bit of both. Hey Coleman. Yanni, of course you are Chicago. You are Chicago. Hey Yanni. So the answer is yes and no, kind of. So the yes meaning that a decent PR firm should already have those relationships. Near White Plains, gotcha. Should already have those relationships in place. So that is why it's great to contact a PR agency, because you don't have to take the time to build the contacts. But that's why you pay so much for a PR agency, because if they're decent, they have phenomenal contacts that you may not ever really be able to build. So you pay them basically for their connections, because they have the connections that could get you, the interviews that you need. It's 90 degrees in Chicago. Oh my gosh. Hey, Lakeisha, Cedar Hill, Texas, welcome. And so but you also do have the capability of building your own media list. It just takes time. So that just involves, my advice, can you get an autograph? I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but sure. Sign my name. It just takes time. And so you have to really think about like where you want to target, what media outlets you want to target, what cities you want to be in, that sort of thing. So when when you're ready to start making the connections, you have a targeted list. I mean, it would be impossible to contact everybody. So you just want to have a targeted list. My suggestion is that you always start local, because it's easier to make contact with them, and you might even possibly, be able to meet them in person and really start to establish a relationship. I always say that it's better to have the relationship established before you need it. It's much harder to build a relationship when you're pitching, even though it's definitely possible. Once you do get the interview, make sure that you continue that relationship. So afterwards, make sure you thank them. Always, be there to serve as a resource, so that if they ever need you for anything or need your expertise, you're there and you continue to build that relationship. That's really important. Thank you for all the hearts on Periscope. I appreciate it. And so if, type yes if that makes sense. So the question is yes and no. PR firm, obviously, they have the relationships, or should, so you want to make sure that they do. So it makes the process a little bit quicker and easier, but you can absolutely build your own media list. Another question, what's a press release as opposed to a pitch letter? So a press release is really a long form of a media pitch. It really is like the announcement for whatever you're doing, whether it's a book, whether it's an event, whether something brilliant happened with your business, like you got a trademark for something phenomenal. It really is an announcement, and it should have all the information that a media outlet needs to make a decision, or write an article. And so a lot of print outlets, especially like local newspapers, smaller newspapers, they can take a press release and write an entire article without even contacting you. So that's the beauty of a press release. People kind of, their debate goes back and forth whether it's outdated. I absolutely don't think it's outdated because, yes, Carolyn, it is a who, what, when, and why, and then some extra details. I absolutely don't think it's outdated because, like I said, there's so many print outlets that take that article and can write an entire, take that press release and write an entire article. So it's really necessary that the press release, you still use that. And there are all sorts of outlets that you can absolutely upload that press release to. Hi, Wayne. Absolutely upload that press release to. And, without ever contacting you, like I said, they could write an article. So it's still very viable. Now, a media pitch is just a tease, really. So it's like an email that you would send to a journalist or an editor or a producer with just the basics of your story. Make it juicy, though. Make it interesting. And, it's kind of teasing them to get them to say yes. So a lot of times after a pitch, you will get a follow-up email. So then, them asking you questions like, what is this about? How we can book you? Yada, yada, yada. Wayne, you're silly. Yada, yada, yada. So it really is just a shortened version. I mean, it still should have the who, what, when, and where, but it's usually pretty quick. Should you pay for a press release? You should pay for a press release if somebody else is writing it. If you're writing the press release, there are a lot of free sites that you can upload the press release to. But as a part of my business, we write press releases, and yeah, that's a paid service. There really is an art to writing a good press release, because you really, you got to grab attention quickly. And so yes, so most people that I know that write press releases for other people, it is a paid service, but it's not something I think that's with not in your grasp to do. I just think you need to understand the strategy. Hey, Julian, how are you? Can I contact the media by email or fax? So don't fax. Very few people utilize the fax machine nowadays. Don't fax, but definitely email. I don't know a lot of journalists that accept phone calls. And even when I was producing on my voicemail, I would say, if this is a pitch, then email it, and I would give my email address. I don't want phone calls, and most journalists don't. I mean, it just takes too much time. And like I said, I mean, I would get, upwards of 250 email pitches or press releases a day. So you want to make sure. Thanks, Rohendra, for all of the interesting information you're sending. So you want to make sure that you want to make sure that you're emailing, you're not calling. The other thing with emails is you want to make sure that you're not using attachments, because most of us will not open emails with attachments just because of the possibility for spam. So if you are sending a press release, put it in the body of the email. Most people that I work with, I suggest that you have like a media resource page on your website, so then you can just give a link and send it there. So that's usually the easiest way. Deborah says that most people have very few funds. Do I have any fundraising ideas? No, not really. I mean, fundraising really isn't my thing. I mean, I don't know of any angle to raise funds to get a press release written or to hire a publicist. I think that if you have, a charity, then that's something different. And obviously people will support, a good cause. You can try a GoFundMe campaign, or ask family and friends, look for investors for your business, that sort of thing. But I'm not really a fundraising expert. No, you don't call him, Carolyn. Don't call him. What is the process to keep someone from using your local entertainment idea? Do it before them and do it better. I mean, ideas really can't be trademarked. So unless it's something where they, take something, literally just take the process, there's really nothing you can do. So beat them to the punch and do it better. So when they do it, everybody knows they're copying off of you. Have you ever pitched a TV show without a sizzle reel, or used one or seen one with Goyd stock footage, or had one pitched to you that way? I don't suggest pitching anything without a sizzle reel. I mean, a TV show or a movie idea. I mean, really, a lot of people want to see the visual. And I don't know what I would say about even if it's good stock footage, I don't know. I mean, I think that if this is your dream, then you have to realize at some point you have to invest in that dream. Especially if you're looking for people to invest in you. So I think it's worth it to bite it bite it cost-wise on the beginning, so that you can get the funds that you need to fund it. So I would be very careful with that. I mean, I'm sure some people have done it, but I don't recommend it. Can you tell me without funds raised? No, I can't tell you how to run a newspaper without raising funds. Sorry, can't do that. The other question is, do I need a press kit? I think that if you're serious about getting media for your business, yes, you need a press kit. And a press kit really is basically information about you, who you are, possible story angles, and any other media that you might have done. So that there are, there's some examples. So I absolutely think you should have a media kit. I think that you should have it housed on your website, so it really is just kind of either a download or, information that people can read it on your website. What's considered to be a cherished media outlet in terms of course, whether good or bad media? I'm not sure I really understand the question. I mean, if you're talking about big media outlets, you're talking about any of the major stations, preferably syndicated, because you'll get into more than one city at a time. And photos are good for your press kit. Yes, Carolyn. So you're looking at like the CNNs, the MSNBC, the nationally syndicated talk shows, major magazines. I mean, that's always like the premier spot to be. Syndicated radio shows, like Tom Joyner, or depending on what you're doing. Major syndicated networks are always like the premier. But I also always tell people that don't discount any media, really. I mean, because if your goal is to get visibility for your business, then whoever you're in front of, it's going to be worth your time. I mean, honestly, as long as I've been in media, there are very few interviews that I will turn down. And if I turn them down, it really doesn't have anything to do with the network or the city or whether it's internet or not. Really all it has to do with is whether or not the media outlet is in line with my brand. So there's some like blog talk radio shows or internet radio shows that, where there's really no regulation. I mean, that may talk about things that really don't have anything to do with my brand. And then just for me, it's just, a time thing. I mean, do I really want to spend my time doing that if their audience is, of a certain mindset that wouldn't support what mine is? So, most interviews I will do. It doesn't matter because I know that it only takes a couple people to hear you and support what you're doing to make a difference in your business. Obviously, getting in front of 8 million people will make a bigger difference. But that's where you go. So. And the last question, if I send something in, should I call to follow up? Now, I think I just answered that. Don't call. I would email them, and I would say, though, absolutely that you have to follow up, because like I said, a lot of times people get a lot of tips or whatever, and, they may not necessarily see your email the first time. So you definitely have to follow up. But now let me just say, there is a fine line between persistence and stalking. So let us be clear. You do not want to stalk anybody. But I think that you definitely have to have a little bit of a backbone and persistence and really believe in the value that you're offering, and make sure that you follow up. And if your pitch isn't accepted the first time, then I would say when the time is appropriate, pitch again. Maybe choose a different angle. Maybe do some more research on the audience and make sure that what you're pitching is in line with what they are, with what they do. Or, see if there's a certain segment that makes sense. So like, for instance, on Tom Joyner, we had the Jackie Reed segment that was focused on women. It was a female focused segment. So if you are someone who has information that is important for women, then knowing that her segment did that and pitching her segment would be a good look for you. So, what would I shell out for a good sizzle reel? I mean, I don't know. I think that low, high. I mean, I think that you're going to look at, I think you pay for what you get for what you get. You get what you pay for. And so I know that funds can be tight, but when you want the quality to be there, And so, I mean, I know that I've paid, when I've done trailers for books and that sort of thing, I mean, I've paid $5,000. So I know that, and that, I don't even think that's the high end. So I would say, look at that as a middle figure, and, you go down or go up depending on you. But I mean, I think that you have to pay for it. You gotta pay for it. Sorry. So anyway, so I'm doing a webinar next week on how to get media before the end of the year, and I put a link in the post. I'm also giving a free gift. So if you want that free gift, which is actually a workshop in order to help build your key messages, then you can grab that. Even in the beginning stages, yeah. I mean, I think it depends. I mean, if you're able to find somebody that will maybe barter some of that, maybe you can provide a service for them. I mean, I think you can get around anything, but I think that the quality should be the most important thing. So if you have something that you can barter services for and that person is open for that, then I would absolutely try to negotiate. I never take a price when it's first offered to me. I mean, I always negotiate, but I'm Jamaican, so, we're always looking to barter. But I think that you're going to get what you pay for. That's it. So make sure you grab the free gift, because the webinar is going to be really, really great. And the gift is good too. So if you grab the free gift, then you'll get another link for the webinar. But the link is in the post section. So I am out of here. I have an interview at 2 o'clock with Lauren Lake. So I'm going to go get ready for that. I'm excited. And we're going to talk media with her. And I'll probably be posting that. Well, yeah, frugal people, yeah, because it's your dream. Dallas says everybody thinks if you're frugal, they don't take you seriously. It's your dream. You have to invest in your dream. If you don't stand for your dream, how can you expect anybody else to stand for your dream? So I don't know if frugal. I mean, I think that businessmen are smart and you negotiate all the time. But I think cheap is a different thing. I think people will judge you if you present them with something cheap. So I think that you have to go with that. So anyway, thank you guys. I hope you have a phenomenal day. I'm glad you could spend it with some time with me. I'll see you guys later.